Okay, in-person questions first, Abs.
May we notice Jay Rich is back? What can you tell us about that situation?
The league determined he's out of health and safety protocols, and so he's out. He's back.
Full go, no problems?
Yes.
Any other injury issues to discuss from practice?
No, nothing at all.
That's exciting.
Good news.
Pretty rare to have 3 days off. How are you trying to use this time?
To tighten up some things on both ends, offensively and defensively, really working on execution. Offensively, some of the things we did well late game, and then stressing the defensive points that we improved on from the road trip. Taking a look at those things today, getting a ton of shots up, resting our body some, and then preparing for a unique opponent.
That's it. Did you watch last night and the ceremony around Steph and all of that going on?
I saw it.
Just your thoughts on it?
It's impressive, obviously. He's changed the game, the way he shoots the ball, obviously. And the thing that's almost more impressive is in 511 less games than Ray Allen. So it shows how the game has changed, the attempts, the range, everything he does. But definitely a revolutionary player and well-deserved tough guard. Someone
who was around before that change. How do you like the way it's gone?
It's exciting. I mean, it's analytically, it's the right thing to do. Hunt threes and try to, obviously take advantage of your shooters. I wish we had more green light back in my day instead of 2-3 threes a game sitting in the corner. But it is what it is. The game has changed, and people are trying to take advantage of it, and you're kind of at a loss if you don't.
Thank you.
How much of a challenge is just what you're trying to do defensively, then you come up against a player like this, especially the way he uses picks?
The way he uses screens, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, regardless of what we do, the way they all hunt shots for him is very unique. It's five guys really trying to get one guy a shot. So let alone the range and the way he opens and stretches the floor out. But you can't get enamored with the threes and the crazy shots because, they get a lot of points in the paint based on how people are defending them. So you have to protect the paint as well, know who you can help off of. And then to your point, very unique. You want to deny him as much as you can, try to pick him up higher. But it presents a lot of things. We got to bring our big higher, obviously, in the screen and pick and roll. And the airspace for him is an open shot and good look for him. So some things we'll have to do differently, but we want to stay with our physicality and then put multiple bodies there, give him different looks. I can't just keep it simple on him because he adjusts too well.
Looking back at the Milwaukee game and then thinking about the film session you had prior to that, just how much did your team respond to that film work?
Yeah, I'd say extremely well. A lot of the things that we did poorly on the road trip, we cleaned up. It always helps to look at it over this broad view of 5 games. It wasn't just the Phoenix game. We took it back to, from the first Utah game and saw a lot of mistakes we made and games we won and had a chance to win. So it wasn't just like an aberration, 1 or 2 games. It was a pretty ugly road trip. And so, I take account for that, for not having us ready every night. But the guys also took account for what they saw in the film. And to their credit, I'm never worried about our guys responding. And when we play the right way, it's obviously a different game out there. You can see it on both ends of the court. And so they took it to heart and responded well.
The team does seem to respond to these things. When there is adversity, you say that you challenge them, they respond. But then there's a tail off after a certain amount of games, almost as if they get comfortable. How do you prevent that after, 2, 3, 4 good performances, them kind of like falling back into the old habits?
Yeah, repetition. What we did today, what we'll do for the next few games, practices is continue to go over the things we do well. Can't get confident or content with what we're doing there. Got to keep pressing until the stuff is second nature. So a lot of the drills we're doing from training camp, we're getting back to those and doing them every chance we get. It's more so the focus and the repetition and execution of those, more so than the actual speed and getting your body out there. We're conscious of saving guys' legs, but certain things you have to continue to work on until they're second nature. So not sweeping under the rug. If we do it well one game, we continue to show what we did well against Milwaukee or worked on it today. And then we have 2 more practices to do that as well as focus on Golden State.
It's 28 games in. How would you assess the team and the rest of the East? It seems like 50 wins is going to be hard to get in the East. And that 48 wins could get you a 2nd or 3rd seed. Are you looking at that? And do you kind of say, okay, we've got to go X and X in the last to try to get, let's say, a home playoff? I mean, are you looking that far?
I mean, you look at the standings obviously and see how tight it is. A lot of teams hovering around that 500 level, and so you're somewhat confident that you can get back in the mix. Obviously, if you run a stretch of games well, but it's more so one at a time, and focus on the next game instead of looking ahead. And the players definitely we're not asking them to do that, but we start to look at games that you had a chance with that you may have given away some early. You want to get those back and know where you would be if you had taken care of business. So something that we're conscious of and want to string a few good games together. And so, as I mentioned before, we're not looking at opponents or a home stretch. We do have 15 out of 20 here, but that's not an automatic just because we're at home. We want to play well and string some together and get some consistency going.
One Zoom question from Bobby Manning.
Hey, Ime, during this season where, trade talks start to ramp up a little bit here, Brad used to say when he was coaching the team that, he'd share some ideas back and forth with Danny, maybe other players that he saw on the other side, then trade them, things like that. As you build the relationship you have now with Brad, do you have a lot of conversations with him about maybe players you see on other teams that intrigue you, things he's doing that he shares with you? Like, what's kind of the rapport there so far?
Yeah, we're talking daily. Obviously, we know dates are coming up, and I'm sure people are starting to reach out, and his phone is heating up a little bit. But we discuss that as well as the day-to-day stuff. And so you always have an eye on the league and hear of the rumors of what's popping up. Obviously, a lot of times stuff doesn't happen, but I'm sure there'll be people reaching out. We have attractive players as well as other people in the league, and we discuss it all. We haven't sat down and got specific about it, but the dates are coming up, and so you got to be conscious of that for sure.
I just want to ask how Jalen came out of the other night and any soreness, and is he dealing with anything?
No, he was good. He said he felt better than the first time around, and nothing at all. Didn't mention it, and I think you could see in his legs an explosion. He was a better player.
Also, did you know that Gary Washburn went to Cal?
I see now.
You're bearing the lead on Gary Washburn news.
Oh, he
by
got
the way.
married as well, but I think he went to Cal.
Wash got married this weekend.
This weekend. About time, man. I can't say anything. I'm not married, so.
On that note, we'll wrap it up right there.
Good arm round, Mr. Good arm round. Okay.